We're on Daf Chav Ches Amud Beis. Um, Amar Rav Yehuda, 4 lines from the bottom. Amar Rav Yehuda, L'schus for Refuah Shlema Feilan Chaya Bas Serach. Amar Rav Yehuda, Zibura, the sting of a hornet, the Charazia silva, getting pricked with a certain kind of thorn, the Simta, we had this before, is a blister, or the Kav La'ena, and someone who has his eyes are not well. Asi Lui Ishus Ishta, someone who gets a fever. Kula Bei Bani Sakanta. All of them, it's a sakana to go into a hot tub, into a bathhouse. Chama, L'chama. Chama is radish, is a refuah, is a remedy for chama when someone is heated, it has a fever. The silka, and I think that's beets or radishes, latzina for cold. The chilufa sakanta, and if you get it backwards, it's a sakana, which, in my case, I would definitely stay away from it, either one of them. I wouldn't take these refuahs for the thing because I'm not even sure what I can never remember which is which. Sakanta, this is Mechilufa Sakanta. Chamimi lakrava, you have to use heat for a scorpion bite, ukariri lizibura, and you have to use cold for a hornet's bite. Mechilufa Sakanta, and if you get it backwards, it's sakana. Chamimi lesilva, you use heat, like we mentioned before. Silva is a thorn prick. Ukariri lechaspenisa, and you use cold for chaspenisa. Rashi says that these are afflictions or some kind of sores that a person gets on his face. V'chiluva sakanta, if you would get them backwards, if you switch them around, it's sakana. Chala l'sipure, you take chala, sibure is hakaz's dam, bloodletting. So you use vinegar for bloodletting. Rashi says, yeah, okay. Umunini letanisa. Munini, Rashi says, a small fish like little herrings or sardines. When someone's fasting, he eats these small fish. He gives them kayach. The chilufa sakanta. But don't take the small fish when you do bloodletting, and don't take vinegar when you fast. Tachli Visipura sakanta. Sipura, like we just said, is hakaz's dam. So tachli we have often is they call cress. I don't know what that is, but cress at the time of bloodletting is a sakana. Ishta Visipura sakanta. Getting a hakaz's dam when a person has a fever is also a sakana. It's also if someone has an eye problem, he should not do hakaz's dam at that time. Now, then the Gemara says, Sheni ledag dam. The second day after eating fish, one can do hakaz's dam. Sheni ledam dag, and 2 days after hakaz's dam, you could eat fish. That means either 2 days prior to, the second day prior to, it's not really the second day. The day before hakaz's dam is okay, and the 2 day, not the day before, the 2 days before or 2 days after, or the day before, the day after.
It's the day before. It's the day before.
Yeah, the day before, the prior day, right? I don't know how to express it. Meaning, as we're going to see, the day of hakaz's dam, one should not eat fish, but the day before and the day after you can. Shlishi loy sakanta, but 3 before or after, so 2 days before, 2 days after is a sakan. Tan Rabbana makas dam lo yechol chagvash, he shouldn't eat chagvash. What is chagvash? Loy cholov, not milk, v'loy gvina, not cheese, v'loy betzolim, not onions, v'loy shcholim, and not this cress. Im achal am rabaya naisi reviyasa dechala. You should take a revius of vinegar, reviyasa dechamra, and a revius of wine. V'nirvinu bahadi adadi, mix them up. V'nishti, and he should drink them. And the Gemara gives a practical suggestion. V'chi mifne, when he goes to the bathroom after drinking this noxious concoction, le mifne el le mizracha shalir. He should only go to a place that's in the east side of the city, mishum the kasher recha. The east wind is the weakest wind, so by going to the east side of the city, the fumes that will come out will not affect the city as much. So you should make sure this is going to produce a very bad smelling reach when he goes to the bathroom, and therefore you should go to the side of the city that has the weakest wind. Amir Shomon Levi, Malin Avankali b'Shabbos. You can be mala avankali. Rashi says it's a little hard to make out exactly what it is. Rashi doesn't say it, but where is it? Avankali. The Gemara is going to say my avankali. What is avankali? Amr Baba istumcha. Istumcha deliba. So Rashi says istumcha deliba. Doifnei basur shetachas halev. The walls of muscle that are underneath the heart, v'hu tarpasha lish. I guess it's like the diaphragm. Lish achrina to nuchsha keneged alev shekar nivla, a valve that's opposite the lev that's called nivla. And sometimes it sometimes gets out of place, this thing near the heart, and it blocks the person's breath. So this you're allowed. We're saying ma'alin unkali b'Shabbos. You're allowed to fix this unkali problem if someone has a problem with breathing because of this diaphragm. You can fix it on Shabbos. Maya susa. How do you fix it? Maisi kimoina. You take kimoina, which is kumin, kruya, which is kruya in a spoon, vanilla and mint, va'agadna, and a bitter grass, v'tzisri, and Rashi just says shadraya, which is another kind of herb, va'avadata laliba b'chamra, and vavadata. I'm sorry, and avadata is another azav, which is what you use for what do you call it? I think for the mitzvah. So when you see, you take all these things and you mix them together. Laliba b'chamra. Then if he's doing it for his heart, like this will be coming a malan unkali, I guess that's for his heart. B'chamra, you mix it with wine. You see that this pasuk reminds you, it says wine will gladden a person's heart. So I'll be a reminder that you use wine for a heart problem. L'rucha, rucha, Rashi says is someone who has breathing problems. B'maya, then you take this concoction, all these spices, and you mix it with water. We have the pasuk puts ruach together with mayim. We'll remind you to mix it with water for ruach. Lekuda, for kuda, which is Rashi says chayle isha yeledes mitzanes hamashba, a woman who gets cold from childbirth. B'shechra, you mix it with beer. B'simanech v'kada al shechma. Shechma is close to the word shechra, so kuda. Kad goes with shechma or shechra. I remember when I was young, when my siblings were born, my mother was of the opinion that a nursing woman should drink beer. Maybe that explains a lot, but this is maybe this is where this old wives' tale came from. But she really believed it.
My mother did the same.
Yeah.
And that wasn't in this country, so.
So I don't know that proves it's a Jewish thing. It's an old Jewish thing. It could be it comes from this Gemara.
And I know this is being recorded. I don't condone any of this.
It's too late now. Me
Yeah.
and, me and Rafal were subject to being drunk when we were little 1-year-olds. Post-fetal alcohol syndrome.
everything makes sense now.
Right. Rav Achabrei the Rava shachak lahu lekulu bahadi adadi. He would take, we mentioned all those different spices or herbs and components. He would mix them all together. And he would take 5 fingers full, meaning a handful of it, and drink it when necessary, when he was sick. He would grind them up separately. He would take his big finger and his small finger, meaning he would take these 2 fingers and take a bit in between his fingers, and he would take of each one. Amra Papa, I did all these things and it didn't help me. Until some peddler told me, I see kuzachadata, take a new small kli, umalya maya, and fill it with water. Verami be tavoda de dufsha, take a spoonful of honey. The talila be kuchvi, that was still laid out overnight. Ulamacher ishti, and in the morning drink it. Avdi hachi vistay, I did that, and that helped. Tanarabah, shisha dvarim merapim mesachayla, micholyoy. There are 6 things that heal a chayla. Ufuasa and refuah. And when you do it, he's going to get a permanent, a lasting refuah. Elohein. Kruv, which is cabbage. The tardin I think is beets. Umei sisin, and this is it's some type of soup they made with a herb. Yevesha, may sisin, yevesha, dried sisin that you use to make a soup. The kibas is one of the 4 stomachs of a ruminant animal, like a cow has one of those stomachs is called a kiba. The heres and the womb of a animal, the aseres hakaved and the diaphragm. These things all provide refuahs. Some people say also small fish. Small fish are very nutritious. Better you should eat small fish than eat pizza. And there are 10 things that if someone chas v'shalom is sick and he's starting to get better, it could cause him to relapse. B'chol kasha, and it makes his sickness worse than it was in the beginning. Elohim, ha'ichel basar shar shuman. Someone eats beef and fatty beef, the fatty parts of the cow. Basar tzli, roasted beef. Basar tzipayrim, chickens, birds meat. Ubeya, tsuya, roasted egg. Ushchalim, and cress. V'teglachas, and shaving. Umerchatz, going to a bathhouse. Ugvina, and cheese. The kaved, and liver. All these things seem very rich. All these things seem to be high cholesterol or very type of things that it's saying that if someone's sick and recovering, he should take it easy and eat something lighter, not eat heavy foods. And some say even nuts that happen to be also very fatty. And some say even cucumbers. Why they call kshuan? Because they're as difficult or as they're as hard for a body to take as a sword. Okay. Back to our Mishnah finally. We said one cannot get a haircut from a Ovid Kechavim because they're chashed that they're going to let the razor slip and kill the person, kill a yid. Tanarban Yisrael Hamstapim Ovid Kechavim Roi B'Mara V'Ovid Yisrael that's getting a haircut from Oivik Kechavim, the way he could do it is he looks in, if it's done being done in a mirror, then the Oivik Kechavim knows that he's watching him and he's going to be careful. So actually, it's not the explanation. Rashi says a different explanation. Rashi says, I don't know. Rashi says, so Gemara is going to say what it helps to look in a mirror. Oivik Kechavim stop Yisrael. Oivik Kechavim who's getting a haircut from Yisrael, Kivin Shegil LeBlur Yasai, since he gets to Blur Yasai, which is a specific part of the hair that the Oivik Kechavim would leave to grow as part of their devotion to their idol. Shemidas Yada, the Yid has to stop the job and stop working over there. Amar Mar Yisrael Am Stam Oivik Kechavim Roya B'Mara. What does it help for him to look in this mirror? Heichidami. If he's in Rishurabim Lamali Mara, what does he need the mirror for? Everyone can see him. He doesn't need to see it himself. If he's Rishuyachid, Kirayim Mahavi. What does it help for him to look? It's because he's going to be dead if the guy Oivik Kechavim slits his throat anyway. So since the Yisrael, they didn't have like barbershops with a built-in mirror. The Yisrael would come with his own mirror to observe as he was working on him. The barber would think, oh, this is a chashav a guy, like we said before, Adam chashav shani, that Adam chashav, they're scared that there's going to be repercussions if they do damage. So by taking a mara, he makes himself appear like Adam chashav, and he takes away the sakana. If Chana bar Bizna have mistapim Oivik Kechavim, he was getting a haircut from Oivik Kechavim, b'shvili d'Nehardoi, in one of the pathways of Nehardoi. The barber, this Oivik Kechavim barber, said to him, your throat is calling to my scissors. I feel like an irresistible urge to plunge it in. Amar, and Rav he didn't do it, but Rav Chana bar Bizna said, Tasili, I really did the wrong thing. I brought this upon myself. It's coming to me. The Avdi Adar of Meir, that I was over the Avdi Adar of Meir. Meir is the man who says that something that's usher, even in public, so you shouldn't do. Something that's also in private, you shouldn't even do in public. So the Gemara, the Rabbanan agree that if we're assuming now that these pathways in Hardah are private, so the Rabbanan also say you can't get a haircut in private. They didn't say that it's mutter and b'sheyachid. But who sava shvila dardah given the shlichi rabbim kush rabbim dami. He said even though it's not a rishus rabbim, but since many people go there, it was a very big town and there was a lot of traffic, and some would would overflow into the alleyways. He felt it was like rishus rabbim. So the Gemara, the Oivik Kechavim mistap Yisrael. When the Oivik Kechavim is getting a haircut from Yisrael, the Yid has to stop when he gets to this blurya, this Oivik Kechavim piece lock of hair. The Kama, how much does he have to stay away? Amar Rav Malkiya, Amar Rav Ada bar Ahava. Rav Malkiya says, B'Shem Rav Ada bar Ahava, Shloisha Etzbois, 3 fingers away from this Avoda Zara lock, L'chol Ruach V'Ruach, in every direction. Amar Rav Chanina Breder Rav Ika, Shufud, the din of a shvud, legabi, it's legabi muksa, and shvachos in the dinim of what a isha is entitled to when she what she brings in shvachos, what her responsibilities are to her husband. Can she leave it to the cleaning lady? Begumais in the din of when there's no shnei cyrus on isha, but there's gumas, there's holes where they were. Rav Malkioi, those dinim was said by Rav Malkiah. Bluris, this din that we just said, and Efer Makla, the ash in an oven where that you're not allowed to, whether you're allowed to put it, he says you're not allowed to put it in on a makkah because it makes a tattoo. Ugvina, and the din that gvina from Oivik Kechavim is aser. Rav Malkiah. It's not Rav Malkiah, but those 3 things are Rav Malkiah. Amar Rav Papa, Masnisna Rav Malkiah. Those things that are commentaries, those shitas that are commentaries on a Mishnah, are of Malkiah. Shmaitza, but those that are commentaries on the pure Amoraim, of Malkiah. It's a Malkiah as opposed to a Malkiah. The Simona, Masnisa Malkusa, the simon to help you remember it is those things that are a Mishnah are a Malka, so Masnisa is a Malkusa. My benayu ikabenayu shvachas. The truth is that the first thing that we said, Rav Chanina Breder Avika, the way he divided up, and Rav Papa's way of dividing up, the only difference is going to be shvachas, that Rav Chanina said shvachas as being Rav Malkiyai, but shvachas shivcha is really from a Mishnah, and so according to Rav Papa, it would be part of Rav Malkiyah. Zok the Mishnah. Elu dvarim shel oivdei gechavim. There's a long Mishnah, but it's a fascinating Mishnah. This is the dinim. We're going to get into the dinim of yayin nesach and gevina sakum. Elu dvarim shel oivdei gechavim. These are objects of oivdei gechavim asurim that are also v'isurim iser hana. Not only are they also to eat, as we know, yayin nesach is also aser bahana. If someone gets a open bottle, if someone has an open bottle of, by mistake, of not mavushal wine on their table, and shiksa takes it and touches it, is it isser or no? I don't know if I shouldn't say it's if you leave her alone in the room. I think it's isser or no. You have to pour it out. You can't give it, tell her, finish it, enjoy it. Hayayin. So the example that I just gave, first one is wine. Wine that was used by Ovdei Kechavim is Aser Bahana. If someone buys vinegar from a Ovdei Kechavim, but it had previously, while it was in the hands of the Ovdei Kechavim, been wine, it's Aser Bahana. As the Gemara is going to clarify, and as we know, the reason for the Isser of Yayin Nesach is because we're concerned that he used it for Avodah Zara. And something that was used for Avodah Zara is Aser Bahana. The Cheres Hadraini. Cheres Hadraini is a kind of, the Gemara is going to address it more specifically. It's a kind of vessel that absorbs the taste, the wine in it. So if you get that from a guy, it's Aser Bahana because of the Yayin Nesach that's inside of it. For Iris Levuvin is a different thing. We're moving away finally from Yayin Nesach. Iris Levuvin are if you get a skin of an animal from a guy, and the skin has a hole opposite the heart of the animal. As the Ovdei Kechavim used to sacrifice animals by ripping out their heart in a very gruesome way. So if you see there's a hole, you get a whole leather, a whole animal skin, and the way you see that the only hole in it is a hole by the heart, so you can assume that it was used for this kind of avodah zara, for animal sacrifice. If it's a round hole, then it's aser. Mashach mutter. But if it's a slit, the way they would do it, they would make a round hole to pull out the heart. But if it was just a slit, a cut, then you don't have to assume it was used for avodah zara. Basar hanichnes la'avodas kechavim. If the guy, if Ovdei Kechavim was taking basar into a base avodah zara, mutter. It's mutter, meaning not to eat. You can't eat treifa food, but it's not aser bahana. It's just an avail. But after going out of you see him coming out of the base avodah zara with meat. Aser neshu kizivchei mason. Zivchei mason, that the Gemara is going to explain, is a lashon that refers to a sacrifice to avodah zara. Divrei Rebbe Kiva, that's Rebbe Kiva. Hahochem letarfus, someone who's going to their festival for avodah zara. Also, like we learned in the first parak, you're not allowed to do business with them because then they're going to be moida to their avodah zara when they get to their destination. But on the way back, mutar, and it's mutar because they're already finished. They're not going to be thanking the Avodah Zara. Noidis ha'ovdei kechavim, the vessels of Ovdei Kechavim, v'kankaneim, and their bottles, v'yayin sheyisrael kanus behen, and the Yid has his wine inside an Ovdei Kechavim's bottle or vessel, asurin, v'isurin iser hana, divrei Reb Meir. Reb Meir says they're going to be asur b'hana. There's going to be a tam, a flavor that comes out of those bottles. It's going to go into the Yid's wine, and it's going to asur the wine. I imagine this is relevant to the question of Macallan's, the sherry cask scotch. There's a lot of scotches that they make in a sherry cask. Sherry is a wine. And they put it specifically on purpose into barrels that have sherry in them to get a taste from the barrels. So I don't know any more than that. I've never really looked into the technical details, but I imagine that this din would impact that. There's no Isser Hana from that taste that comes from it, but it sounds like they're masking that it's also to eat. Hachartzanim v'hadzagim, the pits and the peels of grapes after they were pressed to get out the wine. Shall Ovdei Kechavim, Asurin v'isurin iser hamna. Divrei Reb Meir. Reb Meir says they're asur and they're treated exactly like wine. It's considered like yayin nesach. Chab maimrim lachem asurim, if they still have some wine in them, some moisture, so then they're asur because they're nechanami. That's considered to be wine from Ovdei Kechavim. Yeveshim, but if they're dried out, what's left over is not wine. They're not going to be asur b'hana. Hamurius. The Gemara is going to say what Murius is. Shemen shel dagim, a oil from fish, ugvina, and cheese. Base unaiki from a place called Unaiki. Shel Ovdei Kechavim, that comes from Ovdei Kechavim. Asurim v'asurim nisarana divrei Meir. These are things that get these are both things that the Ovdei Kechavim would on occasion mix into it wine or different things. The cheese also would have other things mixed into it that are also. So the also isurin iser hana divrei Meir. The Gemara is going to say exactly what we're worried about would get mixed into it. They say it's only asur b'achila, not asur b'hana. Rabbi Yehuda, Shol Rabbi Shmuel is Rabbi Yeshua. Rabbi Yehuda asked Rabbi Shmuel. I'm sorry, Rabbi Shmuel asked Rabbi Yeshua. As they were walking along, Amalai, why is Ovdei Kechavim cheese asur? Because the way they make it into cheese, I forgot what the word for that is, but when you make it into cheese, they use the keva, which is one of the products of the stomach acids of an avela. They would use that to make the cheese to cure it. Amaloi keva oila chamura mikeva gnavela. You're saying that it's asur because they're using the keva of an avela, but if someone were to take the keva from an oila, a carbon that was brought as an oila, that you're not allowed to have any hana from it at all. Nevela, you're allowed to have hana. Carbon you're not. Amru, and we said, Amru kain shedaita yafa sarfa chaya. A kain who doesn't get nauseous can eat the keva raw. He can eat it up, even though it's an oila. Weistais, this keva, this what they call it, rennet, that comes out of an animal's stomach is not considered. It's considered to be a byproduct. It's not considered to be part of the animal. Otherwise, certainly no one is allowed to eat any part of the oila. And the Gemara says that you're allowed to eat it. The kain's allowed to eat it. They didn't agree that the kain could eat it. But they did say you shouldn't have enough from it, but it's not Mila. If a kohen were to eat from the oila this keva, it would not be Meila. So Vaistais Midaraisa, it's not considered part of the cow. If it was part of the cow, it would be just like the rest of the cow, there's a din Meila. But it's a takanas lachamim, you shouldn't eat it and you shouldn't have enough from it because maybe you'll come to eat a different part. So he said, how could you tell me that the keva of a Ovid Kechavim, of a nevela, is the reason why we asked for cheese from Ovid Kechavim because of the keva, but it's not considered part of the cow. Amru, Kayin Shadait, sorry, Veloy Haidul. He said, no, the problem is not the cave of an Avela. He's going to use the cave of a Ovid Kechavim. Amuloi. So he said to him, if that's the case, if it's not stam from an Avela, but we're worried about Ovid Kechavim, and that's what the takon is. Im kein lamaloi yasrua b'hana. Why do we just say that Gvina is not the same as Yayin Nesach? Gvina, you're just not allowed to eat it, but it's Nemuta Bahana. But if you're worried about from Ovid Kechavim, then it should be also Bahana. He diverted him from this question. As the Gemara is going to explain later on, this was a new takana against Gvina, and Rabbi Yeshua did not want to discuss the reasons. There was a rule, a regulatory rule, that you're not allowed to discuss the reasons for takana the first year while it's still being implemented. So he therefore distracted from discussing Amalai Yishmael Hechata Kaira Kitavim Daidecha Miyayin. Do you read it Kitavim Daidecha, meaning with a Lashon Zachar, that it's saying that it's a reference to Rabbeinu Shalom, my beloved, meaning the Rabbeinu Shalom is better than wine. Kitavim Dudayich is a reference to the Isha, which is my beloved, meaning the Isha. Amalei kitavim daidecha. I'm sorry, kitavim daidayich. Amalei in a davarkain. That's incorrect. Shar chaverim melamed alav l'reach shmanecha toivim. Because the next pasuk says l'reach shmanecha, which is a lashon zachar. So daidecha is supposed to be lashon zachar also. He just wanted to get him off the original topic because he didn't want to discuss it. Okay, we'll stop over here. Mez Shem Matzah Shabbos. We'll try to make up our lost third of an Amid.